Hello, neighbor. Thank you for joining me tonight for Stampin' Sunday. I'm Alicia Dolan here at Creating in My Corner, and I'm so glad that you're here for tonight's class. My classes recently, I will tell you, have been kind of create as you go classes. So I don't always plan out ahead of time what we're going to make. Actually, I recently have not planned it out uh, very often ahead of time. But tonight we are good. So I say that because tonight we're going to make something that I have never made before. I just saw something, a simple stamping project, and I want to try to recreate it tonight. So hopefully we can do that. I'm going to use, if you are stamping along, the Inked and Tiled stamp set. There's a little delay always with my video, and so when I try to show you things, I can't always tell if you can see it or not. So this is the stamp set that we're going to use tonight, and we will get started right away. Hold on one second. I did have a recent card class. I don't see oh, here are the cards. So if you missed it, I made these cards in person. So here's the first one. I'm just going to hold it up for a second because I feel like the lighting isn't really good. So I don't know how to fix that. Let me see. Maybe if I turn it up a little. Okay, here is the second card. It looks like I'm having a little trouble streaming tonight too. Here is the third card. And let's see, I've got one more to show you. This one is the fourth. So these were the cards from my in-person class in September. I have another class coming up in October, and if you're interested in that, it'll be it's the fourth Friday of October. So if you want to come to that, send me a message, or you can RSVP through the Stampin' Up website, and you will find on my calendar there are usually all my month's classes. And right now I'm only doing one in-person class a month, but I'm hoping to increase that soon. All right, let's get stamping. It'll take me just a minute to switch over so you won't see me here for just a second or hear me, because I don't want you to hear the camera adjusting. Hold on. Oh. Okay, so here we are over in our stamping space. I'm going to turn on my overhead light so that I can see a little better. And I know that causes a glare, but we will be able to see a lot better than we could without it. So Inked and Tiled is the stamp set that we're going to use tonight. And first, we're going to need some thick basic white cardstock. So this is going to be our base for this card. And we are going to cut that at 5.5. So our piece of cardstock is 8.5 by 11. So we're cutting it in half at 5.5. Hold on, I'm going to have to move my camera just a little bit. So I am going to turn off the sound. Okay, I've still got a little shadow down here on the right, but I'm gonna try to avoid that. I was just a little too close to my stand and I kept bumping it with my arm. Okay, so then we're gonna turn our card to the side and we're gonna score it at 4¼ And this is gonna be our card base. So I'm gonna set that stamp set aside for right now. We're gonna fold our card in half and then press it with a bone folder. Okay, and now we need another piece of white for the front of our card, but we're going to use we're going to use a piece of the basic white that's not thick. And we need a piece that measures let's see, by 5¼ So I'm going to cut the 5¼ side first because I had this long scrap inside my pack. When I have a big piece of scrap paper, I usually just keep it right in with the pack. But as the pieces get smaller, I pull them out and put them in clear envelopes and I stash them somewhere else. Okay, so there is the piece that's going to be the front on the front. Now, what we're going to do next is, because this piece will be 4 by 5¼ we're going to add some score lines. So we're going to put it in the center, which would be 2. And we're going to score. Then we're going to move it to 2 1/8. And we're going to score. And we're going to move it to 2 1/4 and score. Now we're going to turn it around and we're going to do the same on the other side. So it'll already be scored here at 2. So we'll move it to 2 1/8 and add a score line. We're going to move it to 2 1/4 and add a score line. Now, I did not get the measurements or anything of the card that I saw earlier. So I'm trying to recreate it without knowing the exact dimensions. And of course, I could not find the picture again either. Okay, so now first what we have is those score lines. So can you see those? They're kind of faint, and I know it's hard to see in the light, but there, if I tip it that way, I think you can see them pretty well. So those are our score lines that we're going to start with. Okay, and next we're going to grab our stylish shapes dies. So that's this one. And if you don't have these inside your stylish shapes dies, there are 3 different shapes. So you get a banner shape, a couple different sizes, circles, and squares. Well, tonight we are going to use the square. And what I want to do is line it up so that my square is in the center of that those lines. So sometimes I would measure it all out, but tonight I'm just going to eyeball it and hope that it works out for the best. Okay, so we're gonna put it right in the center like that. We're gonna grab our top plate and we're gonna lay it down gently so that nothing moves. And now I'm gonna take it to the die cutting machine and run it through. Okay, so this is what we have now. All right. Next, we're going to need to die cut a smaller square. So we're going to take the next size down. And we can grab our piece of scrap paper that we tucked back inside there. And now we're going to cut this one and we are going to run it through the same way. Although we don't have to be as exact because it doesn't need to be right in the center. Okay, so here is our second square and our first. So see how they're gonna fit right inside each other like that. Okay, so next on this square is where we're gonna do our stamping. And I wanna use this flower right here. So I haven't even put this set together yet. Okay, so we'll put together our one flower that we're gonna use. So we're gonna punch this out. And I always try to be careful not to rip either my stamp or this extra part because I like to keep that with my stamps. And then we can peel off the backing that's going to go on our stamp, the back of the sticker, and we have to peel off the protective cover that's on the stamp itself. Now, when you line these up, you want to pick like a curvy edge and line it up. And I usually just set one side down and then I can adjust just a tiny bit if my stamp is too high or too low, not lined up right, because I want to get that image as close as possible to right in the center. Okay, and there is the one we're going to use for right now. We're going to have to put together another one when we decide what our sentiment's going to be. But for now, we can just use this one. Okay, and I'm going to press that down. And then tonight, I want to do a little bit of embossing. And let's do gold. I think gold will be good tonight. Okay, so what we're going to do is we also need you hear everything falling down behind me. I have not cleaned up in a while, and there was an envelope stuck to a whole bunch of things. So they all came tumbling down together. Okay, what we're going to do is this is our embossing buddy and our little embossing tray. And we're going to take this little buddy and we're going to rub him over top of our piece of paper that we're going to emboss. There's a little powder inside there. I don't know exactly what it is, but it helps the embossing powder not to stick where it's not supposed to. Okay, and now, Okay, we're gonna stamp our flower in Versamark. And remember that the Versamark is more sticky. It's a much more sticky ink. So you don't want to press too hard into the pad, but you do want to press a lot of times all around until your stamp is really good and shiny. Okay, you want all that to be shiny. You don't want to press it in too hard because you want your image to be clear. And if you press hard, it's going to get, the ink's going to get all up inside all those little cracks in there. Okay, so we're going to stamp our flower right here in the center. And I'm going to cover up my ink right away because I know my luck with embossing powder. And I have to take extra precautions. Okay, now we're going to sit it right here. And this is just a little piece of grid paper that I had left over from something. I'm always using little pieces of grid paper for all kinds of stuff. And we're going to tap our embossing powder all over that flower. Okay, and then I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to give it a couple taps. And then I'm going to shake it right into that, right back into its little container. Okay, and this is what it looks like right now. See how it's kind of, it's just pretty dull and kind of plain. Okay, I'm going to put the lid back on. I don't ever shake, I don't usually, I shouldn't say not ever. I don't usually dump what's left on my paper back into my jar because I've used different powders on this paper and I don't want them to mix. If they mix, I would end up with a flower that was gold and silver or gold and clear or gold and white. And really what I want is just nice, clean gold flower. Okay. And next we need our heat embossing tool. And this is not a Stampin' Up one, but it's one that I had before I joined Stampin' Up. It still works. They work for a long time. The Stampin' Up one, the benefit of that is it has two separate levels. And so I always think it would be nice to have that other like a lower level for papers that are more delicate and a higher level for heavier cardstock. Okay, I'm going to turn the sound off for a second while I heat set this because the little gun is close to the camera. Okay, so I was talking and the sound was still off. I hope you can see how pretty that is once it's all embossed. I need to get a more solid stand for my camera, I think. Okay, so now I'll show you what we're going to do next. First, I am going to put these back away so that they don't get lost. We're not going to need the squares again, but I think we will use the banner when we get to our sentiment. Okay, so we are going to take this piece and we're going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals to put it on. So, and mine are running out. So I'm just going to cut off all these little edge pieces and I'm going to use those. I don't like to let anything go to waste. And so I always chop these up and use them. Okay. So we're going to put one up here at the corner, one here, and I'm going to kind of put a lot of them on this time. One here. I don't always do that, but since this is kind of a, it's going to be kind of a window layer, I don't want it to smush in to the card at all. One here, maybe one in the middle. I don't usually use this many dimensionals, but tonight I am. Okay. So now we can peel off all their little backs. I am so glad that someone commented. I really appreciate it when there are comments, because then I know that you can see what I'm trying to show you. And I'm not just talking to myself. All right. I'm struggling a little bit to get it in the center. Hold on. Uh-oh. That one's a little more stuck than I thought it was. Ugh. None of the other ones got stuck. Crafting is very tricky business, I tell you. Okay. Maybe if I line up one side first, that'll be easier. I think it probably will. There we go. That's better. Still, it's not quite as in the center as I would like it to be, but it's fine. Okay, and now with our little flower, we are going to put that right in the center. So we need a couple more Stampin' Dimensionals. Oh, you know what? We can put this one down and this one, and that'll be enough. Okay, so I have 4 on there this time. Oh, there. Okay. I think it looks like it should go this way. I suppose it could go anyway. All right, so now we're going to line that up in the center and press it down. And you guys, isn't that pretty already? I really think that is a beautiful card. Okay, but we're going to add a sentiment. So let's do hello friend. I like that. Okay, and we'll have to punch it out again because I haven't, this is the first time I have opened this one. And I did not check to see if I had gotten them all ready yet. Okay, let's see. Hello friend, it's right here. Okay, and remember I said you kind of want to start with a squiggly side and set one side down and then lay down the other side. So I'm going to start with this side here and line it up. And then I can adjust that other side as I sit it down. Okay, and we can put it on this little teeny block here. Okay. And then I still have some of that scrap white left over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to emboss this again, and I'm going to use that gold, that pretty gold, so that my words match my flower. So that my words match my flower. I don't know why I lost that word for a second. Some days I feel like words are harder than others. I don't know why. Okay, we're going to tap around. And we want to pick our shape before we get too far. So I think that this one will fit inside there. Okay. So we're going to want to stamp right in the center here. So we're going to use our embossing buddy again. If I can find what I did with it. Oh, set it off to the side, and it was a little too far away. Okay. So I'm going to rub that over the spot where we're going to emboss. This time I'm just going to tuck that right under my scrap paper there so it doesn't get lost. I'm going to tap a few more times in my ink because I got distracted. Okay, and then we're going to stamp right here. Okay, and we're going to close our Versamark. Tap our gold embossing powder on. Just like that. And then we can just tap it off. Okay, and I'm going to turn off the sound one more time while I am. Isn't that embossing so pretty? I love embossing. I love to watch it. I know I've said this before, but it feels like magic to me. It really does. Okay, so now we're going to close up our embossing powder. This stuff will get everywhere if you let it. So you do not want open tubs of embossing powder hanging around. Trust me, it will get everywhere. Okay. So once again, we need our plates, and we're going to line up our sentiment right in the center, just like that. And we'll set that top plate on the top and pinch them together. Then we're going to run it through our die cutting machine. Now I still have the Big Shot die cutting embossing machine from when Stampin' Up sold those. Now there's the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And if you are considering that as a purchase, I would tell you it's amazing. And it folds up so you can store it a lot easier than you could the Big Shot. Okay, we're going to put this down here, but first, what I want to do is grab a little piece of gold trim. I really think this gold trim is so pretty. Let's see, how do we want to do this? I think I'll just wind it a couple of times. Okay, now I'm not going to tie a bow. I'm just going to kind of separate it a little bit so that I can see all the little threads that go in. And then I'm going to grab one of these glue dots and just stick it right on top. Now I might need to, if I don't get it in just the right spot. Sometimes we can get them to just stick together if you overlap them just a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to grab just one more little glue dot here. And I'm going to stick that right on the top. And I'm going to stick it to the back of my little sentiment using that glue dot. So it just kind of sticks out the ends. And then I can put my dimensionals right here on the back of my sentiment. I know that sometimes we tie a bow behind there, but when I'm putting it behind a sentiment, I don't always like to have that little knot to deal with. Makes it a little flatter if you can get away without that knot. So let's just stick that down. Okay, and this is our first card for tonight. It's just kind of a quick and simple card, but it's really beautiful and very elegant. Now you could add some sparkly gems on there too, but I really think that's pretty just on its own. And I can see that I will want to be making a lot more cards that are like this. It's quick, it doesn't take a lot of time, but it's a beautiful card. Okay, next I wanted to show you something different, something that's on sale in the clearance rack. And I think that we've mentioned it before, but I cannot remember for sure. Okay, so what we're going to need next is, of course, our basic white. First, I need to put these stamps away before I get a little too distracted. Okay, and I'm just going to clean them off. And then when I put my stamps away, this is why I keep the backing. I like to stick them upside down like this inside there, and then they just stay right in their place. Okay, and if you notice that I'm not using my chamois tonight, you are correct. So when I clean a stamp that had Versamark on it, I really prefer to clean it with the Stampin' Scrub and the mist. So I like this better for Versamark, for any kind of craft ink that's a little thicker or gooier. I like it better for stays on ink cleaning. So if you don't have one of these are really handy too. And we also sell the little spray that goes with them. Okay, so that was, did I put that away? Yes. Okay, so that was our first card. And then we're going to need some basic white again. We're going to need some Subtles cardstock. And this is from the Memories and More card pack. So I don't remember exactly when this came out, but there were cards too, but the cards are currently sold out. This Memories and More pack, however, is still on the clearance rack. So you can get this and make a bunch of super cute cards. Okay, so first we're going to use a piece of Balmy Blue from our Subtles pack. So if you got this, there's a lot of colors in the Subtles that will go with these, this Memories and More card pack. So we'll just cut our card at 5.5. So this is a standard card. And then we're going to score it at 4.25. Okay. And we can just fold that right on the score line. Here's the bone folder. We can press that nice and flat. Okay, and then this comes with some really cute sticker sheets. So we're going to use some of these ones. And let's use this one. I really like this one. Okay, so I'm going to cut this down so that it will fit on our card here. So we're going to want to cut it. Let's see, these are 6 inches tall because the cards they originally come with are a little bit bigger than a standard A2 card. So we need it to be 5.25. Okay. By 4. And it's already 4. So we can put it right on here like this. I'm trying to decide how I want it to be now. You make my heart happy. Let's put it right on the front. I think that's super cute. Okay, and I was trying to see what kind of ribbon I had that go with this. I think this one would be cute. Okay. So let's put a little piece of ribbon across there. So we're going to cut it here. And then we'll get our little glue dots out again. And we can stick one on either end. Let's see. I think it should go down here at the bottom. Don't you think? Don't you think so too? Right under the happy. Okay, so then we'll just wrap it around and stick those little glue dots to the back. Okay. We can use some dimensionals to pop this up a little bit. Of course, we'll have to cut a few more off our edges here. Might as well just snip them all while we're at it. Then they'll be ready to go. Okay. And I like to put my dimensionals not too close to the corners, but kind of in a little ways. I feel like that helps our cards stand out a little bit longer than it would otherwise. Okay, so now we'll peel all those backs off. And we can stick that right in the center. And then let's add this little heart sticker. And we can use a dimensional on that. Now it is a sticker, so you could put it on there flat, but I don't want it to be flat. So I'm going to put a little dimensional on the back, and I'm just going to stick it here by the "You Make My Heart Happy." And we can add a few of these iridescent rhinestone basic jewels. So I can find my take your pick tool. I don't think I've used it since last. Oh, maybe I did use it since last week. Oh, here it is. Okay. And we'll just put some of these little sparkling rhinestones on. One, two, three. That looks good. Okay, so here we have a whole card. I don't know that it took us maybe 10 minutes to make this card. And it's so cute. So all you would need is that Memories and More card pack, which is $4 right now. You get all these pieces. You get 4 sticker sheets. You get a whole bunch of 4x6 sheets. And you get these little 3x4 cards. So you get all kinds of little additions that can make your card making go super fast. Okay, so there's one card. Let's try and make another one. Now here, I think we have just a few minutes left. Okay. Okay, let's make one that's petal pink. I've already got some pieces cut and I just found them in there real quick. Okay, so here we can make a petal pink card. Let's cut it, let's see. Let's cut it so that we make a fun fold this time. Let me measure one I've got up here. Okay, so let's cut it here. Let's score it here at 2 3/4. Okay, and then we're going to turn it around, and on the other side, we are going to score it at 1 1/2. Okay, so now our card is going to fold in like this. Let's see what pieces we've got. And I'm looking for a little bit of a pink one here. Some flowers. Okay. So let's use that. Okay, so we're going to cut this at 5 1/4 this way. And we need a piece that is 2 1/2 and a piece that is 1 inch. Okay, so then we've got 2 little strips left over, but we're going to put these pieces on first. Okay, so here is where Mortimer comes in handy and my little glue. Okay, if you haven't met Mortimer before, he is my little turtle and he holds my glue for me while I'm working. I found that if my glue stays pointy side down, I have an easier time using it. So that's his job, is to hold my glue upside down. All right, now we're going to put our 1 inch piece on this side. It looks like it could have been 1 1/4, not just 1, but that's all right. Okay, let me see if this side looks okay. I feel like maybe we should cut it just a hair shorter so that it matches the other side. So we made it 2 1/2. We'll make it 2 1/4. Then we have a really teeny piece left over. Okay. We're going to put this on the larger side. Okay. And we're going to center it just like that. These fun fold cards are really great. I think they're a lot of fun. Okay, so here is our card like this. And then okay, that's a possibility. Maybe that. Not this knife. I like the wow one so far. I kind of like that one too. Oh man. No, this is the one. That's the one. Okay. Okay, but did you see all those sentiments as I was sorting through there? You get all those in the pack. I wish it had been that great a deal when I bought it. Okay, so now we're going to put this on the front. But I think what we want to do is, I wonder if we could cut it out with one of our stylish shapes. Let's see, that one's a little too small. But I think that one will fit just right. Let's turn it over and see though. I think it's just gonna fit inside there. All right, I'm gonna cut it out with my dies and we'll see how it goes. It fits perfectly. Okay, so if you have the stylish shapes dies, now you know that each of those little cards will fit inside that large circle from the stylish shapes dies. And it fits in perfect. All right, and now what I'm going to do next, mostly because I like to complicate things and overthink it, I'm going to cut another circle exactly the same size out of petal pink. No, yes, petal pink. Okay, and now what I want to do is just offset these a little bit so that we get a little extra bit of that color behind this first one. Okay, so we're going to put some glue on the back. And I just did a roundy round that time. Mortimer, you're slacking off. Okay, so we're just going to offset that a little bit. And then let's take our linen thread and tie a little bow. Let's tie a double bow. Okay. So we're just going to take our thread and tie a little bow. And here's just a hint, don't pull your bow too tight when you first tie it, or your little strings will wind up just like mine did right there. And if you want your bow to be nice and straight, you're not going to want them wound up like that. Okay, and now we can trim the ends. It's trying to be a little complicated. Okay. Here we go. You can grab another little glue dot and stick that right on the back of our bow. I don't know. I think maybe it should go behind. So let's put it on there first. All right, we're going to put our dimensionals on here. But this time we're only going to put them on the left side because we don't want both sides to be stuck down. So we're just going to put them over here on the left. Kind of like that. Okay. We can stick them right on there. Now this time we did use the stylish shapes, but you could have put that square on there, or you could have cut it down a little bit smaller too. If you don't have stylish shapes dies or a circle punch, maybe that would work. Okay, and then we're going to put our little bow right up here. I'm kind of putting it off a little bit just because that's where I want it. And again, with our sparkly rhinestones. I keep putting things back where they belong tonight, and then I cannot find them. Okay, let's put these right in the center of our flowers. I think that'll be really cute. So there's two. And then we'll do one up here. And let's see. One over on this side. And maybe one over here. Okay, and for the inside of our card, because we have some extra time making these, it goes really quick. Let's cut a piece that's 5 1/4 by 4 for the inside of our card. I like to, very often, I put an extra piece of white cardstock inside my card to write on. I don't always stamp a sentiment on the inside, but I do like to write in there. So let's put this on the inside. Oh, you know what? I didn't squiggle down the middle that time. I forgot for a second. Okay. So there is the inside of our card. And we have these little leftover pieces. I think it would be really cute if we add one to the inside. Let's see. Let's put it at the top. So it's going to need to be 4 inches wide. Oh, it seems like it was really close already. Okay. And let's put a little glue on there. And we'll put that right up here at the top. Okay, there we go. And so tonight, all in all, we actually made 3 cards. So here is the last one. And the one before that. If you want to make a lot of cards quickly, these Memories and More packs are a great way to do it. So these were both made using the Memories and More pack and the Subtles cardstock, plus a little bit of white for the inside there. But there, we didn't do any stamping on these either. So that, I think, is in part what makes it so quick. So there are those two. And then here is our simple and elegant Hello Friend card that we made tonight. I hope that you've enjoyed tonight's class. If you have any questions at all, you can always send me a message or leave me a comment, and I am going to answer you just as soon as I can. So have a great week, everyone. Happy stamping.